Don't be alarmed. The quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry. That quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.
And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos and PCC Multiverse. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us. Truly appreciate you doing so. Thanks for stopping by. Please go ahead and make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe today to get that latest notification on when the latest PCC Multiverse, State of Pro Wrestling, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Lakers Fast Break, or Pop Culture Cosmos stops on by. So you can check out what we do each and every time out and why we love talking about the world of pop culture every single time right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without a good friend indeed. It is, of course, the guy who we have had here now alongside for quite a spell, well over a year now. So looking forward anytime he stops on by. He is the guru of pop culture. It is the great one, TJ Johnson. TJ, always glad to have you back, catching up with you now in a different area and neighborhood.
Yep.
Right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.
Well, gee, it's good to be back in multitude of ways. Good to be back on the Pop Culture Cosmos with you, clearly, and good to be back in beautiful, sunny, warmer than Chicago, Florida. Let me just say that off the bat. So grateful to be here, brother. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. I tell you what, though, a lot to catch up on. I know that we did a lot of catching up on the Monday show with Josh, but I know there's still a lot of catching up to do with what we're doing here on this particular show. My friend, where do you want to start first? Because you already had a lot of stuff in mind to talk about. PlayStation 5, Xbox, Project Helix, WWE2k26, Kobe, and Bam Adebayo, and more. So where do you want to start first, my friend, on the Pop Culture
I
Cosmos?
think you got to strike while the iron's hot, and I think we need to talk about these 83 points scored in last night's game, the Miami Heat versus the Washington Wizards. I think let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay. I again, if you guys want to go ahead and know my stuff, then I did talk about it quite a bit on the post game for the Lakers fast break, the most recent post game for the Lakers in Minnesota. I know that I'm going to be touching on again for a little bit here, but I know it's a still sore issue for a lot of Lakers fans because Bam Adebayo did reach that plateau of 83 points, passing Kobe Bryant's 81 points for second place all time. The modern record, supposedly, for points in a single game. So with that, I know that a lot of the criticisms that are abound, not just from me, not just from Lakers fans, just regular media in general, are about how he incorporated that. He did have, I guess, a lot of help in doing so. I'm sure to an extent there's some stat padding with Wilt's 100. I'm sure there's stat padding you could say at times, maybe even for Kobe's 81. But this, I think, goes beyond that. But again, as I said before, I have a bias. As a Lakers fan, I have a bias on which I think is better between Kobe's or Bam's record as far as is concerned. Your thoughts, my friend, because I know you're very angered and up in arms about it. It was, I think, the most notable things that stand out about how he got his 83 points include the fact that he was 7 of 22 from three, and being allowed to continue to chuck the ball up at such a rate from three is not exactly the greatest thing in the world for team play. And then also as well, 36 out of 43 from the free throw line, which is actually both new records for a single game at the free throw line. Your thoughts, my friend? 83 points for Bam Adebayo, a guy who's averaged 20 points in the game only once in his entire career. Well, until now, because, I guess somebody told him that he needed to go ahead and score 83 points in the game in order to get to 20 points an average for this season. That's exactly what he did, because right now he's at a flat 20 points a game.
How about that? I think I need to preface by saying that I need to preface by saying a couple of things. As a Kobe Bryant self-proclaimed fanatic, as a fan of Kobe Bryant, but I think even more importantly, as a fan of what the NBA used to be, and I use that term with all due respect. Here's the problem that I have with the 83 points. It is not that the record or the second most points scored in an NBA game was beaten. It's not that. And I think that's the common thing that a lot of people want to talk about, or people are just mad because it's Kobe Bryant and he passed up Kobe Bryant's number and da 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 and the way he did and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really it's not that. The fact that he passed up Kobe is it puts it into a different spectrum and puts it in a different a different a scope, if you will. But it's not the sole problem. The problem is the way in which it happened. When Kobe Bryant scored his 81 points versus the Raptors, it was a largely contested game up until maybe the last 3 or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. Largely contested. Um, Kobe needed, the Lakers needed those 81 points from Kobe Bryant to beat the Toronto Raptors, a much better defensive team. Sam Mitchell's been on record as saying he threw multiple defenses at Kobe multiple times, different players at different times, and Kobe just gave them the business. He he was very unabashedly so in saying that about Kobe Bryant. You would not be able to find any Washington Wizards player to be able to say the exact same thing about Bam Adebayo and his performance last night. They did not throw everything in the kitchen sink at Bam Adebayo. Washington Wizards are notably one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA today. Not to say that they're not even they're not even in the conversation. I mean, they're a tanking team. The Miami Heat were ahead the entire game, not just part of it, even to the point where they were beating the Washington Wizards. I think they ended up beating about over 30 points or close to 30 points. It was clearly a game where it was not necessary for the theatrics and the constant shooting and 22 shots from deep, 43 free throw attempts, making 36 out of those. Like the way it happened was egregious. The way it happened was disrespectful. The way it happened was just nausea inducing in regards to what a lot of the old heads have said is wrong with the NBA. Like this is the exact thing that we have been talking about being the issue with the NBA. It's soft, it's a watered down product. It is literally just a bunch of shooting and running up and down the court. There's no heart, there's no desire, there's no grit, there's no commitment. This is everything that has been wrong with the NBA pretty much put into one game. And it's absolutely sucks because Bam Adebayo is such a nice guy. Got he's a good player. He comes in, he puts his hard head on, he gets to work every day. Like you said, he's averaging 20 points a game. He's not a bad player by any stretch. He's not a scrub. Let me be very, very clear. He's not a bad player in any way, shape, or form. And this is not an indictment necessarily against Bam Adebayo. I want to make sure that's clear. But the way in which this all transpired, the way in which this all went down, is just it's extremely disrespectful. It's extremely disrespectful to the game of basketball. I can't imagine what Kobe Bryant would say if he were here to see the game. I can't imagine the. I imagine he would probably be saying one of the more politically correct things he can say, but I can't imagine him enjoying that game. I can't imagine anybody who's a fan of basketball prior to these last 5, 10 years would say that they enjoyed that game. There was nothing. Again, it's not to take away from Bam. I know that that's the common argument that people say. It's not about Bam. Bam scored his points, and you have to be able to put the ball into the bucket to score 83 points. There's no denying that. But when you have teams actively fouling in situations to get you more touches, to get you more opportunities to get to the free throw line, to get you more opportunities to get shots off, when you are actively enabling this player to do that, then yes, 83 points is a phenomenal feat, but it pales in comparison to 81 hard earned points, to where he literally was battling for said points. This was not given. He had to take it. And I think that's the biggest problem that we see with this. 83 points in and of itself is not what's being shunned. It's the way that it happened that's being shunned. It's the fact that, yes, his 83 may be more points than Michael or than Kobe Bryant, but it will never surpass what Kobe Bryant did against the Toronto Raptors that day.
I will just say that again, as someone who has a bias in this situation, I said this already on the air. I'm not the best person to ask because I'm going to tell you Kobe Bryant 10 times out of 10 that this game
I don't
that
think
Bam
anybody's going to
Adebayo
fight you on
has.
that, G.
Well, they're. I'm sure if you're in Miami, somebody's going to fight you on it. But outside of Miami, if you take a look at it, this game again, when he was triple teamed, quadruple teamed, whatever, they were throwing 2-3 people at him at times, they were still fouling him. And at what point do you just do not let him have the ball? Ball denial can be a key, but you still kept letting him get the ball time in, time again. And the refs just calling foul after foul. And then also on the other end, Miami intentionally taking fouls so that they can get him the ball a lot sooner. It was absolutely a farce to the way you play basketball, the way you're supposed to play basketball, competitive basketball. It was absolutely just ridiculous in that final quarter. And it's just a shame because, again, it puts a bad light on what should have been a great achievement for him. And that as far as him being able to go ahead and have one of the greatest single performing games of all time, but there's just now so much added onto it. And as someone who covers a team daily that has a lot of people trying to put an asterisk on a championship they won, a lot of people are going to try and put an asterisk on this game for a long time to come as well.
Absolutely. And I think the problem with said asterisk on this is that it's still going to go down in the record books as 83 points scored in a professional NBA basketball game. And I don't hate that. What I strongly despise, again, as we said, is the way in which it happened, is the fact that it happened to Bam Adebayo, who, like you said, should be able to enjoy this moment, should be able to enjoy this being put in the record books alongside Kobe Bryant. I mean, who would have ever thought that you'd put Bam Adebayo and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence for the most points scored in an NBA game, period? It seemed unfathomable up until last night. There's nobody that would have told you that they had Bam Adebayo scoring that many points on their bingo card, because it'd be a flat out lie. It didn't happen. So it's really unfortunate. It really is that the NBA allowed that to transpire in the way that it did. It really is. And I feel bad for Bam, like I said, because he's not having the opportunity to enjoy this the way he should. And shame on the refs for 43 free throw attempts, when the most that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, 27, 28 free throw attempts. Even LeBron James has not gotten that many free throw attempts in a single game. It is asinine the amount of things that had to happen in order for this to happen, for this to be achieved.
Dwight Howard almost got
it's insane.
well, actually, that's who he passed, was Dwight Howard, because Dwight Howard was for other reasons, because he was just so bad at the free throw line. Coaches would often intentionally foul him so that he would miss a shot to go ahead, hack a Dwight, per se, as far as that's concerned. That was an actual coaching thing to make it competitive. But yeah, this today, or that we saw from the 83-point game, was just absolutely egregious. And again, I do not consider it the same kind of achievement that Kobe Bryant had, because like you said, Kobe Bryant needed to give that 81 points, or at least the majority of it, the vast majority of it, because the Lakers game wasn't decided until in the fourth quarter for that game because they were behind
Yes.
when he really kicked it into gear in the second quarter. So yeah, absolutely. Just disappointed for Bam because, obviously he's very happy about it, but at the end of the day, you cannot put it on the same level as Kobe Bryant's game. But again, I have a bias for it as a Lakers fan. But if you guys out there have a thought or two on Bam Adebayo's 83-point single game record, modern day record over Kobe Bryant's 81 points and compared to Wilt's 100 points, please let me know your thoughts right here at popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, there's still much more to talk about on today's show. Where shall we travel next on the road to TJ right here at Pop Culture Cosmos?
I say we take a left on SmackDown Lane and Jabroni Drive. I think we talk about WWE 2K26. Let me explain to you my thoughts.
Okay, WWE 2K26 just recently released within the past few days. It is now available in all formats, so go ahead and you can follow along with what TJ has to say. TJ, your thoughts on the latest WWE venture, 2K26, currently an 80 on Metacritic.
So here is the thing. From a gameplay perspective, I think WWE 2K26 is probably one of the better releases of the last, 5 to 10 years. I kind of thought initially that it was another, copy and paste of last year's game, which was great, by the way. Last year's game was amazing. I thought it was going to be another copy and paste until I got to use that stamina, until I understood that what that stamina bar does. It completely changes the way you play wrestling games, and I think it does it for the better. You run out of that stamina bar, and then you can't do anything. You can't reverse. You can't run. You can't like you're drained. You're done. So it really does create a bit of a flow, if you will, or that mimics what we actually see on a WWE product as far as the television format is concerned. And you have sometimes that they're up and sometimes that they're down. It actually mimics that pretty well. So it's actually a lot of fun. From a gameplay perspective, I would probably give it an 8.5 out of 10 from gameplay. Here's where this thing drops dramatically for me. The monetization has become such a thing. It has become such a thing that it is impossible to earn the things that you would normally be able to earn by, getting VC, because now they put this battle pass in there, and you have to earn EXP to increase your battle pass, and you have to get to certain levels to get to your battle pass, and to unlock everything you have to have done. You'd have to have grinded this game to Kingdom Come, or you pay a nominal fee to get battle pass boosts and to jump up levels and to jump up levels. And 2K continues to find ways to milk this product for everything it's worth. And as the consumer, it's our fault because we're the ones buying it. For me to be able to talk about WWE 2K26 means that I had to purchase one of the following titles, or one of the following versions of WWE 2K26: the Attitude Era version, the Monday Night War version, the what's the third one? The one that was like $150. I can't even
Was there
remember.
there was a Triple H version? I thought, was there?
There's a
No.
Triple H. So there's a Triple H version. There's a Attitude version. There's a Monday Night Wars version. So for me to even be able to talk about it, that means I had to have bought one of those three versions, which means I paid more than the normal price for the base game. I paid for the extra. So in paying for the extra, I got a few extra things. I got a few extra, characters and some VC that I'll never use outside of, unlocking more characters. And yet, and still, with all the money that I spend on that title, I have to still grind to unlock everybody. When I tell you the amount of frustration I had in realizing this and having not understood that that's what I was really going to have to do, regardless of the version that I bought, it infuriated me, Gerald. It infuriated me to the point where I almost uninstalled it, in spite of the fact that I paid the money and in spite of the fact that I downloaded it, so I wasn't going to get my money back. Like, It was that frustrating. And it's my fault because as a diehard WWE fan, I just wanted to buy the best one and get all the characters because I knew I was going to do it all anyways. I was going to ultimately buy all the season passes and do all that stuff. So I said, why not? Just get it all in one lump fee up front, be done with it, and not have to worry about it for the rest of the year. Silly me, because clearly I did not read the fine print. The monetization of the 2K games in particular has been very egregious, and this is just another prime example of greed, greed, and more greed. So, gameplay wise, I think the game was fantastic. But for everything that comes along with it, the grindiness of WWE 2K26 absolutely drops it down to a 7.5, maybe a 7 for me. Like it really is really disheartening to see that this is where we are in this day and age of video gaming. It's quite disappointing, actually. Quite disappointing.
Well, I can't say I blame you because with 2K, they have become heavily reliant on microtransactions. They've said this in shareholder meetings and whatnot, that it is a great part of what they do as far as their video games is concerned, which is going to be pretty concerning to me for those who are eagerly anticipating GTA 6 now are on the horizon. I wonder exactly how much it does take out of the gameplay. All this microtransactions. I know I don't buy microtransactions. I just don't. As a rule, I just don't. I buy DLC on occasions. I remember buying the DLC back with Oblivion the first time around. Shivering Isles and doing that.
Mm,
That's
mhm, mhm.
fine. I have no problems with buying like 15
Yeah.
$20 DLC for like for
Yes.
instance Cyberpunk 2077 when they had their
Yes.
DLC because it's giving you a ton of
Added
more
value.
content. Yes,
Yes.
I feel a value is concerned, but this is just okay. We're going to give you 60% of what we can actually do for you, but you're going to have to unlock the rest. And that to me, that's the way I feel when I go ahead and I play the games like that, especially these sports games that are just so dependent on it, FIFA and in the 2K games and things of that nature, where it's just so, like you said, so grindy. I just don't have the time to grind to go ahead and satisfy their needs as far as trying to unlock everything in order for them to get ahead and me to feel like I'm going ahead and playing a full version of the game. That's I when I go back and I play 2K games from the past before they went to microtransactions, I felt I was getting a more complete experience. Today, when I go into it, I just feel like I'm getting something that it's just not entirely there.
Yep. I would agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm getting half of a game that I paid $150 for. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Ridiculous.
Well, if you have thoughts on WWE 2K26, microtransactions and all, please just feel free to let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, I think you've obviously released some frustrations when it
Oh,
comes
I'm
to
not done. I'm not done.
Bam
This is not a happy,
Adebayo and his
this is not a
83
happy
points.
episode.
You're not done. Okay, no worries. And then WWE 2K26. In order to release more frustrations, where are we headed to next, my friend?
Let's talk about our PlayStation. Let's talk about good
That's your
old
PlayStation.
Sony.
Oh,
Good
I have.
old Sony. I
I
know.
it lost me on the PS4, so you've got it on the PS5.
Let me understand this concept of dynamic pricing, right?
Hmm.
So recently at a shareholders event or some kind of meeting, whatever, I don't even care. They announced that they were going to start introducing dynamic pricing. Now, if you're not familiar with the term dynamic pricing, what dynamic pricing is essentially they're going to have different prices for different people based on different spending habits, not to exceed a certain amount. So it won't go over over the price they would normally sell it at, but they may not sell it as much of a discount. For instance, I'm someone who purchases the subscription for the year. So I don't do the month to month subscription for Sony. I just do the 1 year, again, the one lump sum. Let's just knock it out so I don't have to worry about it for the year. And a fair amount of my purchases on the Sony PlayStation have been digitally. So if I were to be one of the test subjects for the dynamic pricing, the games that I purchase would be significantly more expensive than the games that Gerald would purchase because Gerald has not purchased games on the PlayStation console over the course of the last generation. So Gerald is much more enticed to do so because the prices are going to be better for him. However, you look at the people who have been subscribers, been spending money on their ecosystem, and been doing so consistently for the last 10 years. And they say, well, you know what? We appreciate you being a loyal customer to Sony PlayStation. And while we love you so much, we're not going to offer you the same discount because you have already proven that you're willing to purchase games at a higher rate and at a higher price than the other person. So we're going to offer the discount to the other person because we want to get into their pockets as well. When I tell you that the theme of video games in 2020 and beyond has been corporate greed, this is the epitome. This is the definition. If you look up corporate greed, you're going to see dynamic pricing and you're going to see Sony PlayStation's fat head right there. This is ridiculous. I just don't get it. For someone to have such a hold on the market that Sony has, for them to have such a hold on the gaming community that they have, to still be so desperate and so greedy to be taking advantage of the consumer in this way is just it's a new level of low. Like, at what point is enough enough? At what point do we as the consumers say, we can't keep doing this? We can't keep allowing ourselves to fall victim to this. Like, what more are we supposed to do? We're still in an economy where we're not sure where, our next meals are coming from. And yes, I know we're talking about meals, or we're making a comparison of meals in video games, right? There's no comparison there. You're going to focus on the meals. But the point is, we all work very, very hard for our money. And in a world and an economy where things are getting much harder to obtain and it's costing much more to obtain the things that we would have been obtaining for much cheaper at a later or in years prior, everything is costing more. We're being much more strict in regards to what we're spending our money on. And you tell me that you're going to reward the non-loyal customers by giving them better discounts and better deals than the people who have been consistently putting money into your pockets. Something about that does not inspire loyalty, and something about that just doesn't sit right. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. Now, Sony's even going as far as saying that we are now no longer going to be putting our games on PC platforms, meaning they're not going to be allowing their games to go, from we're no longer going to be seeing Gods of War being able to be played on a PC, or any of the Spider-Man upcoming games, or even the upcoming Wolverine being able to be played on PC, because Sony is now backing up and saying we are no longer going to be releasing our games on multi-platform. We're not going to be releasing them on PC. So if you want to play a PlayStation exclusive game, you will have to get a PlayStation to do so. I have been very, very much adamant about the console wars and Xbox in particular rolling over and just allowing their entire catalog and their entire portfolio of IPs to be used at the discretion of any other platformers. I've absolutely been on record as saying I don't like it. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. And I think the only positive thing that I can take from any of this is that Xbox is finally developing a bit of a backbone to say, we have to continue to find we have to make Xbox Xbox again. And this new CEO is at least coming in and saying the right things. Now it's up to it's gonna take some proof, and we desperately need some proof from the Xbox category. I know we're kind of segueing right to Xbox here, but it's been encouraging to hear all these things being said. Now, what's going to be more encouraging is to see this stuff put into action. And what's going to be even more encouraging than that is to see the return on the investment of the ecosystem that we've been putting into the Microsoft ran behemoth for the last 15, I'm sorry, for the last 25 years, because we're on the 25th year anniversary of Xbox. So for the last 25 years, we've been putting into this ecosystem. And it's going to be interesting to see if they finally have realized that we want our games to stay on Xbox. We don't want our games to be ported out to other platforms because other platforms have not been playing fair with us from the jump. I've yet to see a Microsoft platform be able to play Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man Miles Morales or any of the God of War series. Now, I understand that with this new Xbox console that's going to really come out or that's starting to be revealed, little detailed little pieces of it's going to be an Xbox PC hybrid, going to be able to access the Steam store and all that good stuff. That's amazing. That's great. But all it's saying now is Sony's like, okay, well, so now we're just taking our games away from PC as well. So now you will not have an opportunity to play a PlayStation title on an Xbox console or a PC console. And it just goes to show that they've been greedy and they've been selfish and they've been playing one-sided from the get-go. And it further proves that there's just no you just can't play nice. You have to just fight fire with fire. You want to keep your exclusives, we're gonna start doing the same thing. And that's okay. That's okay because that's just the way that it's been. That's the way apparently it's going to continue to be. So now that we know, now the lines in the sand have been drawn, let's get down to business. So I'm curious to see what happens with it. But all in all, gaming has just got me really, really, really ticked off over the last, I don't know, over the last 6 months, man. This has just been it's been disheartening, Gerald. It's been very disheartening.
What about also as well PlayStation's possible decision? I mean, it's based still on rumored. It's not been announced by PlayStation that going forward, most their entire library will just be on the PlayStation platform, and that they're steering away from the PC marketplace, which is a burgeoning marketplace over the past recent years. But they felt that, or I guess if the inside story is correct, which most reports say that it is true, that they're just having a situation where they're just not seeing the kind of returns that they want from PC, and they want to make it more exclusive. But what they also see is Xbox's new drive towards a PC Xbox hybrid with Project Helix, that was recently announced and then also touched upon earlier today at the GDC conference. Your thoughts, my friend, on that? A wise move by PlayStation, or do you see it as something that might eventually come back to bite them with some extra cash that they might have lost?
I don't think that they were making enough in the extra cash, and especially because they were releasing games that had already sold well on the PlayStation that they had already made their money back. So this is just extra, and they just didn't. And what I can appreciate is that they said, you know what, the integrity of our product needs to stand on its own, and the best way to play a PlayStation product is on a PlayStation console. And they said, you know what, we tried to play ball, we tried to put them on PC, and we're just not really seeing the return. And guess what? All money ain't good money. And so they said, you know what? I would much rather keep the integrity of PlayStation games and the integrity of PlayStation exclusivity on the PlayStation. We're going to keep it right here. And you know what? I am not mad at them. I'm really not. I'm not mad at them for doing it because I truly do believe that they seen it and they say, you know what, all money ain't good money. I don't want those extra dollars because the integrity of our product is not going to be questioned. It's not going to be compromised. We're going to continue to put out the product that we put out. We're going to continue to make sure that you're going to want to buy a PlayStation console. We're not going to let the Steam marketplace or the Xbox ecosystem come in and take over our market share. We're going to keep PlayStation exclusive. And I wish that Microsoft did the same thing. So I'm hoping that this new CEO or this new chief operating officer or whatever acronym or title that they want to give themselves, the person that's running Xbox now, I hope she is really about that life and is looking at really making Xbox again.
We will have to wait and see. But PlayStation, again, I'm just thankful that they're actually putting out games under their banner once again. Marathon, the early word is that it's thought of rather well. After some great concerns about that. Again, we will see what the ultimate success or not success for this game will be. I know a lot is riding on that for Bungie on that, but we will see if that's a game, though, because of its multiplayer format, that is a game that's going to be on PC and PlayStation. But their single player games are the ones that they're going to probably lean away from going forward. If they continue to go ahead and bring out these multiplayer platform games that are going to be more, like extraction shooters and whatnot that we see from like Hellraisers, Arc Raiders, things of that nature, then they'll probably still continue to release them on dual platforms. But it's unfortunately the Ghost Yotes and the Spider-Mans, and then eventually evolving into the Wolverines, those type of single player experiences, which may not be found anywhere else but a PlayStation. I find that sad because, again, it takes out a member of the audience that is not going to buy a PlayStation 5 under any circumstances.
Yep, it does, and ultimately, I get that. We want to be able to. We want gamers to be able to play games. I get. I understand that concept, and I can empathize with that. But I think it has to be something said, one, for fair play, right? Because again, I hate to use this example, but Microsoft has said, okay, we're willing to open up our library because we want, you know, Phil Spencer, call them what you want to call them, call them successful, call them not successful. The verdict or the jury's still out on that. But he made it very clear that he was trying to be as inclusive as possible. And he was trying to make sure that everybody got the opportunity to play games, no matter what console you were on, whether you were PC, whether you were a TV that could stream it. They wanted you, Xbox, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, wanted you to be able to play Xbox games no matter where you were, no matter what console you played on. They wanted you to be able to enjoy games. Sony cannot say that they felt the same way. And it sucks because, Microsoft tried to play ball and had been playing ball. And if you could look at it, Microsoft titles are some of the best selling on the PlayStation over the last couple of years. However, PlayStation just was not willing to do the same. They were not willing to play the same kind of ball that Microsoft was. And at some point, you guys say, okay, we tried to play ball with you guys. You guys don't want to play, so now we have to go at you again. And I'm telling you, when there's a competition, it just brings out the better in each other. So I'm hoping that this just makes things that much better as far as gaming in the years to come.
We will see, my friend. But again, PlayStation making a lot of decisions behind the scenes. Not all of them are going to be popular with gamers, but again, it is a more focus on the actual PlayStation product. So if you have thoughts out there on the dynamic pricing, for lack of a better term, in other words, more money for us, less money for you, and then also as well, of course, their decision to most likely pull away their single player experiences away from PC. Let us know your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But to finish the Xbox part of it, again, Microsoft was at GDC with a major keynote addressed earlier today, and incorporated the Project Helix style of pathway for hybrid of Xbox and PC. And whereas PlayStation is veering away from dipping their feet into the world of PC, it looks like Xbox is trying to embrace it in full as another direction that the company is taking with this Project Helix project, that aka their next console, which again, I guess they're talking about alpha units going out to developers as early as 2027. I don't know if that means late 2027 for a release, but we will have to wait and see. But they're also talking about the experience they have now with the handhelds. Obviously, the handhelds, especially the Rogue Ally X, has done well enough for them to consider now incorporating that into a software edition where you could have immediately go into an Xbox mode from your PC. Your thoughts, my friend, on that as far as that end of it is concerned? Because I think that was probably one of the most important things that came out of this GDC concept, is the fact that they're fully embracing this PC Xbox concept. And do you think ultimately it will be a pathway to save the Xbox from extinction?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I don't have a problem with them embracing the PC concept because, as far as I'm concerned, Xbox was always just a slimmed down version of the PC, anyways. From being able to, you know, install or download things to the hard drive. I mean, I remember the very first Xbox, I was able to burn audio into the Xbox to play them in Project Gotham Racing. So as far as I'm concerned, this has always been what the Xbox has been. They're just now actually embracing it, and for the better, as far as I'm concerned. It's not going to hurt them. Now, in regards to the second part of this, I think that when Xbox went with this whole philosophy on everything is an Xbox, and we kind of touched upon it a little bit earlier, and they played this card of really kind of diluting what it means to be Xbox, what that looks like, and how, being an Xbox consumer is is tailored for us, it's tailored for them. That whole concept really took away from the Xbox and its identity, its brand identity, who it is, what it wants to do. Does it want to be the Netflix of gaming? Do they want to continue to be a console gamer? Where are they going? I think I think with the direction, especially from some of the things that we've been hearing from the GDC, as far as them really trying to embrace the Xbox brand and look back at these 25 years and really find ways to incorporate all 25 years of Xbox gaming into the future of Xbox. I think they're really trying to lean back into saying, okay, we are Xbox. This is who we are. This is what we are. Allow me to reintroduce myself. To quote the great Jay Z, allow me to reintroduce myself. So
Oh, you mean
I'm
like to quote the billionaire? Great.
oh,
James.
of
Yes.
course, Mr. Sean Carter. Um, I think it's important that Microsoft really does come out the gate strong and say, this is who we are. We have 25 years of gaming history behind us. We've had, and I'm telling you, if I could be part of the marketing team, we've had some great highs and we've had some of the lowest of lows. But we're here to tell you that we're still in this fight. And if that means that we have to take some hits along the way to earn your trust back, that's what we're willing to do. I really feel like they have to have this concept of, we hear you, we understand you, and now how do we move you? Like they've got to be able to embrace that. And I think it really does seem like this CEO, or this, again, whatever acronym she is, uh, that she is starting to understand that concept, or at least on paper understands that concept. Now, how they're planning to integrate 25 years of Xbox into this reform, and especially with it's supposed to be coming out later on this month, um, in regards to being able to play some of the old titles or whatever they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull this one off. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly what that looks like. Because nostalgia is a beautiful thing, but it's only going to give us a little bit. It's only going to give Microsoft a little bit of good grace for a little bit of time, right? They're on very, very thin ice, and it's just a matter of time before people turn on them completely. So this may save some face, but they've got a long, long road ahead of them in regards to rebuilding the brand of Xbox, and what that looks like, especially with the hybrid of the Xbox PC now diluting what it means to be an Xbox, maybe even a little bit more. So it's going to be interesting to see, Gerald. I wish I had a definitive, this is what's going to happen. And I feel like you and I on this show, we've been pretty spot on with what our predictions were. And as soon as we started to see some of the writing on the wall, we kind of knew what was coming before it happened. And but this one, I'm not 100% sure. I got to be honest with you, I'm not sure on this.
I just wanted to go ahead and add in as far as the conversation at the dinner table for Jay-Z and Beyonce, because they're uh, most recent a part of group in the past year of billionaires. But Jay-Z saying that, by the way, I'm a billionaire. Oh, Beyonce would come and say, you know what? I'm a billionaire too. And
Yeah,
there you go. So
how about that?
how about that? How about that indeed? But again, when it comes to Xbox and Project Helix, I got to see this in action. And I
Yes.
got to see if it's still affordable for consumers before I start jumping. I'm not going to get caught again. Sorry. Um, I have been on the forefront of praising Xbox for a lot of its things, and I got burned ultimately by it because they took my good faith and me touting for years it was the best value in gaming, and they threw it right in my face, and they threw it right in the trash. And I have to see it to believe it. I have to see what they're going to do going forward to make me impressed about it. I have to see it in action before I go ahead and say a whole lot about it, because all sounds nice in concept. It's all sounds nice, and you're embracing the PC community. That's great. That's awesome. Especially when PlayStation isn't. But right now, I think with the console market as a whole, and even with Nintendo Switch 2 ultimately being the successful console of last year, I don't see any of the three console makers to be in a vibrant, healthy mode right now, especially with the way the world economy is, and other factors along with it. I don't see all three of them, beating their chest as far as is concerned, because each of them have issues right now for their future going forward. And when it comes to Xbox and Project Helix, I need to see what the plan is before I go ahead and I jump on board. Now, I still want an Xbox Rogue Ally X. I would still love to have a use for it, and be able to go ahead and take that on the road and be able to use it. That's what I'm still thinking about to this time. But again, jumping on that for $1,000, I'm still kind of wavering on that. Although I've talked to people that have them, that love it, absolutely love the Rogue Ally X. So we'll see on that one. But again, the whole concept of the Xbox Now concept, as far as being able to switch to an Xbox mode from your computer, what is the backward compatibility like? The whole 9 yards of it. I don't know what that looks like. I want to see it before it happens.
Yeah, and I think it's fair, and I think that's fair to say that, as a consumer, you have been burned. We have been burned as consumers, and so it makes it very hard to trust again, Gerald. I've loved and I've lost, and I just don't know if I want to love again. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to give my heart again. I've been hurt too much. I'm damaged goods, Gerald.
Yes, you and I both, my friend. You and I both. I almost felt like going into song there.
Yeah.
Like we were good. Yes. So we will have to wait and see. But I am, again, hopeful that Xbox is finally on the right path, because they've thrown away 2 generations so far, and they're only going to have tolerance for one more generation, in my opinion. If this Project Helix does not work, they will get out of the console business entirely. That I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to bet the house on it, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to steer away from it, because it's clear that Microsoft, the word at the top is, you better get your stuff straight before we are going to go continue to provide funding for Xbox going forward. And because you can only lose so many generations before you just say, you know what, I think I'm going to call it a day.
Yeah, but I think the bigger question that we need to be willing to ask ourselves is that, what does that success look like? What is it going to take for that console to be considered a win? What is it going to take for Xbox to really bring it back home? And I don't know at this stage if I have any of those answers, because it's been so bad for so long. So I think we as a consumer have to really start to ask those kind of questions, like, what does that look like? What does a successful console from Microsoft look like, and what does it do, and what does it not do, and what does it allow, and what does it not allow? Like, we've got to be willing to understand that. We have to be willing to really dive into what that looks like. And I don't have those answers right now, because it's been so bad for so long. I don't know what success is going to look like for them. I really don't. I think they're going to have
I
to start putting
agree.
out really good games. Just put out good games, and let that lead the way. I mean, we're gamers at the end of the day. Let that lead. Let that be the charge that's leading it, because ultimately that's what we want, anyways.
Indeed, my friend. Absolutely, indeed. So if you guys have thoughts out there on what's going on with Xbox, please let us know. Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, to give everyone an update on what's going on as far as with our contest, the movie and video game contest that we're doing as far as our fantasy league. Basically, the only real thing that we can provide right now is, I mean, I think you and I had Scream 7 on one of our lists as far as it's concerned. It's done okay, although a sharp 73% drop in its second week may not bode well for the list as far as it's concerned. But in the annals of the video game scene, I want to hear your thoughts so far, because Fatal Frame 2 might have to be one you might need to replace, because that has now currently a 74 on Metacritic. But on the good side for you, my friend, you have, of course, Pokemon Pocopia and Resident Evil Requiem at 88 and 89.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we can't win them all, G. I'm okay with sacrificing Fatal Frame or Fatal, whatever. I'm okay with sacrificing that. It happens. We got some replacements, so you know what? I'm not concerned. It is too early to freak out. Too early to freak out. I've had too many good wins. I've had some really, really, really good wins as of late. So I'm okay. I'm okay with this. You're not gonna. I'm not scared. This is not me scared. This is just me.
Okay.
I'm just chilling.
One of my alternates is WWE 2k26, and it's an 80. So I don't know if I have to use it, then that tells me I have something that underperformed.
For sure.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
So if I have to utilize one of that, or WWE 2k26 as an alternate, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Fatal Frame 2 remake 74. Which is kind of disappointing, because actually it was a critically acclaimed game at the time. So yeah,
Right now it's Resident Evil, man. Resident Evil is got the world in a chokehold. There's no room for Fatal Fury or Fatal Frame right now.
Actually, I think Pocopia is. I know with the success early on of Resident Evil Requiem, and what they announced is 5 million within the first couple days, 2-3 days of it. It's absolutely a great success right off the bat. Pokemon Pocopia, according to Nintendo shareholders, they've been told and communicated that Pokemon Pocopia, combining the elements of Pokemon and Animal Crossing, seems to be a great success as well.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, two things can be true at the same time. I just think that there's just too much going on right now for people to really. Fatal Frame would be one of those things that come back around later, like a cult classic. I don't think they're too worried about it right now. It's just not. It's not as mainstream enough to take some of the attention away from the Resident Evils or the Pokemon Pocopias of the world right now.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But if you have thoughts on the video game world, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we head it out, my friend, we do have a few minutes left. Your thoughts? I know that we haven't done a retro review in a while, so going on the Wayback Machine, anything come to mind on your long trip from the Midwest to the East Coast, or right now that you settled back in on the East Coast? Anything come to mind as far as what you may be looking at?
You know what? No. You put me on the spot, Joe. I was not prepared, sir.
No worries.
I
Well,
was
I
not
will tell you.
prepared.
I will tell you, as far as a reviews come out, the movie studio Amazon and MGM finally may have itself a hit, because Project Hail Mary, the advanced reviews have come out for that movie, and it looks like all signs are pointing to be a hit, because it's gotten really strong reviews. I think it was at 79. Oh, it's at 80. It's at 80, which for a movie, the movies are usually critiqued harder than video games on average on Metacritic. So an 80 is a really good score for a movie. Your thoughts? Are you heading out next week to go check out Project Hail Mary? Because I don't know if we'll be actually able to preview this next weekend when it comes out.
I'm not. No.
You're not?
No, no, I'm not. I'm not. And the reason being is that I'm working all weekend. Number one, number two is the kids' spring break, so we're gonna be going out of town. So no, I won't be checking out Project Hail Mary. Not next weekend, anyways. Now, if after next weekend.
Oh, at
Quite
some point in
possibly.
time, then. How about at some point in time?
Yeah. Okay. At some point in time, yeah, I do plan on checking it out. Look, I really want the movie industry to succeed, and I have to do my part, and that means going to see movies in the theater. I don't know if this is a movie that really warrants necessarily having to be in the theater to see it, but I want to support. It's part of our, this is part of our DNA. This is part of who we are. It's especially part of who you and I are personally. I enjoy movies. I want movies to succeed. I want to continue being able to take our families to movies and enjoying that time. So I'm all in. So yes, if I have an opportunity to see it, I will go see it. I'm just not. It's just not right now.
Well, we will see what happens, but I'm thinking that this could be the first huge hit of the new year. Right now, actually, 2026 sales are exceeding what we're seeing with what we saw last year. So that's a good sign. But I want to hear your thoughts out there. Are you going to go ahead and catch Project Hail Mary? Please let us know your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Man, I should have gotten Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twist Reflection, man, because that recently came out, and that is an 87. So I'm worried. I'm worried because, especially on the video game end, because you've got that 88 and 89 to start off with, and while I do have GTA and Forza Horizon 6, I'm not at all positive or convinced any of the others will get in the high 80s that I picked. So we will wait and see. But yeah, my friend, it's I don't know. I'm just getting kind of concerned. I'll just leave it at
I think
that.
that's a
But
fair. That's fair to be concerned. I get it. I get it.
man, Monster Hunter. I it's not like the Monster Hunter games you knew, so I was kind of like, I don't know if they're gonna really like this, or the critics are gonna like this or not, because it's not like the traditional Monster Hunter. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like they liked it. And for the Fatal Frame 2, it's not great when it's got the same exact score as John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. So yeah,
Oh, yeah. That doesn't bode well.
that does about yeah, Toxic Commando is just an unabashed, unashamed like throwback to PC first person shooters from before, with a dash of Left 4 Dead. So yeah, I will just leave it at that. But again, my friend, it's been great having you on here. Looking forward to our next conversation in hand. But any last thoughts, my friend, before we head on out?
Long live 81 points. Long live 81 points. No, Gerald, it's always been a pleasure, man. And I look forward to our next conversation on the Pop Culture Cosmos.
With about a minute and a half left, do you ever think somebody will get to 100? That's the thing that
I
I take
mean,
away from this. 83 points with the way it's done, how it was done, all that stuff.
yeah,
I think
I think it's a
100
matter of
can be
time
reached.
now. Yeah, it's just a matter of time now, especially if there's nothing put in place to kind of deter some of the way the game has been played as of late, then yeah, it's just a matter of when, not if.
I think Wembanyama's going to do it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's my pick to say, okay, first of all, he has the height. You could throw him like 100 lobs. He has a good mid-range game. If he gets hot from 3 and they foul him 20 times or 25 times as far as the free throw line is concerned, I think he would be the one I would bet on doing it. Just saying.
Agreed.
Agreed indeed. But again, TJ, I will prep you next time on the retro review. But I thought we had some extra minutes. I wasn't sure if we were going to go ahead and be able to get one in there. But you know what? I think the memory banks next time we'll get something in there for us next time when we when we chat. Absolutely indeed. But again, it is the great one, the pop culture guru that he is, TJ Johnson. Always glad to have him here, right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. So for TJ Johnson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Don't be alarmed. The quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry. That quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.